Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure being with you again on a Wednesday. So we get a chance to interact with each other and do what we do. I must point out that this is a non-partisan platform. We are just here to discuss matters of our concern. We are not intended to disgrace or embarrass the government in any way, shape, or form. A little bit distracted because my son is giving me a hard time. Hold on, son. Um, Again, let me go ahead and get this thing going. DJ, I messed up. Let me go. I am so sorry, my gentle people. Privacy is all right, public, and that's it. Okay, we're good. So yes, we are here to discuss with our panelists about issues of our concern. This evening we'll have please like and share this live and also subscribe. I will show you all the beautiful face that we have with us this evening. And let me just go straight into it. Okay, that's it right there. So, good evening, gentlemen.
Evening, Sir Sutherland. Good to be
That's
here again.
right. Oh, so in our midst tonight, we have very regular face, Dr. Paul Ivy. And of course, we have the troublemaker in the building, Dr. Rupert Francis. And we have a new face tonight. It is Glenn Ford Taylor. He is a musician and a former JCF member. So he resides in South Florida. And this Sunday, I will have a special with him and his music that I was listening to earlier. I have actually 7 songs out there. He's very young. He just find his career in music and decided to put it in plastic. So how you doing, Sir Taylor?
I am pretty good, sir. It's my pleasure, and I just want to say thanks to you and your audience and stuff for having me.
Uh,
So,
my pleasure, sir. So this evening is gonna be a little bit different. There are things that going on in parts of the world, in particular Haiti, where we're seeing many activities that taking place down there. And one other thing that concerns me is how us as Jamaican, what role we're gonna play in the Haitian crisis. And earlier I was talking to Mr. Taylor, and he had shared a very, I don't know if it's a sad story, but he shared a story with me, and I would want him to share it with the audience. So I would use that to set the pace. I know I put you on the spot a little bit, Mr. Taylor, but you said you were in Florida, where you reside, and you came across a Asian, and you have an interaction with that Asian. You want to tell us a little bit about that before, so that we can pave the way for our discussion?
yeah, this happened. It's a little while back, but it resonates with me a lot. Um, what had happened is that I was in Miami, and I ended up in a conversation with a gentleman. He's from Haiti, so he's like, "Oh, Yadi," you know. So I say, "Yeah, I'm Jamaican." He's like, "Oh, Sue take over that, man. It's Sue become our place. Sue take that over." So I say, "How is that?" So he went on to tell me that, well, you know, a lot of his people are in Jamaica, and you know, him and the Dans them down there kind of run things. So he went on to ask me a question. He said, "When is the last time have you seen a coup in Haiti?" And I mean, that was all before the killing of the president and before what is happening currently. So I said, it's been a while. I haven't heard from the last time when they had Mr. Aristide removed. I heard of anything. And he said, because you know why? So I said, no, he's like, because we sent all the guns them to Jamaica. So I say, how is that? He say, yeah, we send always, we exchange guns for food or meat, and sometimes, we exchange it for women. So I say, how is it with women? It's like if we see a girl and we like her, we just tell the Dan that we want the one, and she wake up on the boat. So if in the event that she wake up and start want to fight her stuff, we either throw her off or we take her to Haiti and turn her into a prostitute. That pisses me off. Excuse my language. Yeah, but that just that got out a bit, But yeah, it really ticks me off when that statement came out. But
Wow.
I went on to make some inquiries, from my former colleagues and from headquarters, and yes, they are cognizant of the time of people being, we've been having a lot of young females missing and young people missing and stuff. They were cognizant of that occurring.
Wow.
So it is things that's being investigated still, but it's not a nice feeling. It doesn't give me a good feeling of what is happening. And right now, I empathize with what is happening
Hmm.
with what is happening in Haiti. But I think we really need to do some inquiries before taking in an influx of people.
Yeah, I noticed there was even last week it was a news article that Asians in Jamaica is saying don't bring them come here. You know, it's sad, but they need to find other place in Jamaica, in Haiti to be. But the things that they're running from is what the Asian is gonna bring here. You hear anything of that sort? I don't know if you read that article that Dr. Ivy, but I read it where
Yes, yes, yes. I did read it and extensively. As a matter of fact, I think uh, Cliff Hughes, Cliff Hughes made it a part of his monologue for the opening of his show one day, and he quoted at length what the person was saying, that the 80 that he left from to come to Jamaica 10 years ago or so is not the same 80 that is in 80 now. It's a totally different ball game in terms of how the country has degenerated, and that he empathized with the government for not wanting to take any of the refugees and to summarily send them back. Those are the sentiments expressed. But you're right. So to your question, yes, those were the
wow.
sentiments.
I that sent chills to my body. Even though I have heard stories before, so we are pretty much aware of the culture and the behavior of the Asian. But given the crisis now, should we just said no to the Asians? Dr. Rupert Francis.
Um, Good evening, everyone. Good evening, brother Paul Ivy. How you doing?
Greetings, Dr.
Yeah,
Francis. I'm well, I trust you
for
are
about a
too.
week, but that's long enough, right?
Yes.
You guys read a lot. I've been immersed in the Haiti thing. Good evening, brother Glenford. How are you? You
I
looking
am
at
doing well, sir. Thank you.
this man is singing all over the place and making waves overseas. So I want everybody to listen to him. He's really quite good, and yes, seems to be getting younger. Now back to Haiti. This concerns me because I did say something on my platform recently that I said something and somebody responded. Do not use the word Haiti and Jamaica. That I said that we could become a Haiti if we are not careful. And somebody said that do not use Haiti and Jamaica in the same sentence. And I said, why do you say that? And they're telling me, hey, I said, look, I know that a lot is going for us in Jamaica. But then somebody put out a frame of something that had happened in Jamaica in 2010 with the Tivoli incursion, where you know, the gunmen were fighting with the policemen and soldiers at the same time, if you remember it, and they
Yeah.
had burned a couple of police stations and so on. So I'm saying that happened in 2010, and we have far more weapons, and we know it's coming from Haiti, Haiti, or coming through Haiti and other such places. United States, of course, you know, but the fact is where it is coming from, and all borders are open. You could have 100 helicopters or whatever you're talking about, but you have some guys who have decided that they do not want to work, and also you have some who are encouraged and are protected, and you know, by certain, and I hate, I don't want to call names in terms of who was protecting, but we know that it can't be them who are buying these guns, and there must be a reason. The difference with Jamaica, though,
Mhm.
is we are far more what we're far more organized, even though the police force might be underserved in many respects. The military from which I came is certainly much more organized and can handle quite a bit, to be quite
Yeah,
honest.
but the question, though, Dr. Francis, should we take them in,
Well,
given?
I'm getting to that because
Okay.
I'm just giving you a sense, a broader picture of why I'm not, although concerned, not afraid of, you know, taking these people in. Well, it's a matter of, I do not think we could do that because we have issues of our own right now. We have serious issues of our own. And I believe that passing Christian and Pitney first. And if you don't take care of your own in such a way, or you can't do it, and you bring these people, and let's hear the story that Mr. Glenford just mentioned. If he just mentioned that, and there's 50%, 60% of truth in it, we have to be very concerned because everyone here will agree that there are lots of missing people. I remember one in particular that hit me was a teacher. She's a math teacher, and she's not the type of carousing person. She went out, went somewhere, and all they found was her shoes. And this was a very responsible woman. So I think there's a lot to it. I think we have to be careful. I do think we have to find a way, and they have found a way to help Haiti. But I do not believe that any country should, like us, can take in Haitians just like that willy nilly, because it cannot be of any real significance to us or Haiti.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much, sir. People are dying in Haiti, Dr. Ivy, and
Yes.
we are in close proximity to Haiti. I think you know, most people think that where we geographically located, we should, we're very close, and I guess we should be one of the persons, one of the country that rescue the Asians, given what's going on. They're dying. What do you think about that, though?
Well, to begin with, um, the Dominican Republic, which shares a border with Haiti, you know, it was Hispaniola, and
Right.
they are not taking them. They are not
Wow.
taking them. And of course, they have a history of discrimination against the Asians. But the point I'm making is that notwithstanding the severe crisis that is there now, not even their closest neighbor, the Dominican Republic, is taking them. I don't think Jamaica is in a position to actually take refugees from Haiti at the moment. I say a little bit more. However, what we have seen is that Jamaica has taken some orphans who are, you know, really vulnerable. I think they also have some disabilities, but we have taken some orphans to
Yeah,
give
we
care
have.
to, which is the best we can do in the circumstances. Remember now, you know, Haiti's population is in the order of about 12 million, you know. We cannot afford to have an avalanche of Asian refugees turning up on our shores. It's just
Yes.
not feasible, not practicable, not safe. And so, what I wonder is this, because to begin with, our coastlines are so porous.
Hmm.
They just turn up on the coastline of Portland, you know, in boats and so forth. And I'm wondering, and you see, we go back to the security situation in Jamaica and the use of technology. We really can't have ships patrolling the coastline, so many miles of coastline. But why can't we have drones? Why can't we have drones surveilling the coastline? And if you spot something, then you deploy a vessel to go there or something like that. So it goes to part of the security arrangements that we have and so forth. The next point I want to make is why has CARICOM over the years been so impotent to have any effective interventions in Haiti at the political level, such that we are now relying on Kenya. The US is meddling in that and probably is even using Kenya as a front entity to come into Haiti and so forth. The impotence of CARICOM is concerning, very concerning, that CARICOM as a body just can't do anything meaningful concerning Haiti, and has gone to a meeting where Secretary Blankston comes in and just takes over the show. And we have our CARICOM leaders like little figureheads. And then it also to be remembered that the WikiLeaks that came out a couple of years ago had Dr. Peter Phillips saying, if he was Minister of National Security at the time, or he was Deputy Prime Minister, quote unquote, Minister of Finance, saying that if we don't get a handle on the crime situation in Jamaica, we may well degenerate and become the next Haiti of the Caribbean. The WikiLeaks had Dr. Phillips saying that. And the last point I want to make on this matter is this business of the Asians, the guns, the drug lords, the trading of drugs for guns, meat and food, swapping people in and out, as Sir Taylor has mentioned. You know, one of our leading public affairs commentators and attorney at law, Gordon Robinson, he is quoted as saying, and I quote him in one of my books, that crime is not Jamaica's biggest problem, you know. It is the corruption. It is corruption which is the mother of all of Jamaica's dysfunctionalities, really, or a big chunk of it, this corruption, because you see, it is the crime thing, the dons and their connectedness to people of power, their proximity to power, and all of those kinds of things. That is why we can have a situation where the back and forth between Haiti and Jamaica for nefarious purposes actually continues.
Yes, sir. Leslie was saying, Dr. Ivy, are you serious? John, what do you see? Yeah, yeah,
Survey the coastlines.
yeah. I don't know why you say that.
Everybody has a drone.
Like
Are
Jean
you
Murray.
using them like toys?
Yes.
It's drones the US using to kill the so-called terrorists all over the place.
Right. Let me just ask Mr. Taylor, who would have
In fact, Obama bragged that he had become very good at using drones.
right. I don't think that I think that's a modern day tool that we should actually utilize. There are many ways that we need a lot of drones for do
Yeah.
many things.
Well,
You know,
they have their uses.
as a surveil certain certain
Surveillance tool.
areas.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let me ask Mr. Taylor though, because he had paved the way for this discussion. Mr. Taylor, where's your heart? Where is your heart with this Asian thing? Don't you think that given the crisis and people are dying over there, we should, you know, render some assistance by taking a few thousand of them? What do you think?
It's a cruel choice because, looking at it from a humanitarian position, yes. But the point about it is that we don't know who is who. We can't just hop and take everybody in or anybody in. You know, I mean, I think in the days of this Aristide,
Mhm.
we taking a lot of wanted persons, people who are wanted in Haiti, without doing any form of background check, without doing any
From
scrutinized,
a screening, yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So the difficulties that we have already with crime and the influx of weapons and stuff that getting into the hands of young people in every sector you go in Jamaica now, the crime has gotten out of hand, way out of hand. You know, we're running up in to areas where they're
Yeah.
outgunned police.
Yeah.
You know,
So
so
we really have a crisis, in my opinion, and I don't think we should. We are where we at now. Given our situation, I don't think we can really offer the assistance. And the truth is, like Dr. Ivy said, the Dominicans, which is sharing the same land with them, not taking them. So I don't see why we should really going too deep into that. We already taking some offense, which is they are innocent ones. They can't do much. I think that's as far as we should go. But we would be buying problem on ourselves, and that's how I feel. So we have a new face in Jamaica now. Behind the whole crime situation. It's called what
Doctor.
Dr. Kevin Dr.
Blake,
Kevin Blake.
Blake.
Dr. Kevin Blake. I'm not seeing my thing here. I have to be looking across the mic and all that. So, anyways, we have Dr. Kevin Blake that take over the leadership of the police force and decide to take on crime. I know Dr. Ivy is there on the ground, and I know it's very, very, very early to see anything. But do you hear? Have you heard anything of him? What his plans are?
Well, at his inauguration, if you will, he made some comments that he will be focusing on technology and that the human rights focus, justice for all, was the headline coming off of his remarks and so forth. So he alluded to serving the people as the chief constable and all of that. And he mentioned a focus on community policing. I
Wow.
heard 2 days ago that there was a noticeable increase of policemen on the beat in Kingston, which
Mm.
is, part of the saturation policing that we spoke about some time ago, as in presence, more presence of the police. So it has been mentioned that there have been an increased number of police on the streets seen in Kingston. Secondly, or thirdly, he has just announced the formation of a new branch, quote unquote. And that new branch is what is called the Beat and the Foot Patrol.
Mm.
So, in terms of early actions, those are the things that he has done which have become noticeable. But what he has indicated is that it is a strategic approach that he's going to take in terms of the infusion of technology, respect for human rights of citizens, and also a focus on community policing. Those are his early moves. But I've seen a situation in Old Harbor where two men were killed by the police. They said it was a confrontation. Two guns were recovered, but the citizens have protested for 2 days consecutively. They have lit fires in the streets and so on. And the thing about it is that the officers involved were not wearing any body worn cameras. And many stakeholders have been saying that the police needs to have body worn cameras for these situations where their accounts and the citizens' accounts are diametrically opposed at
Right, right, right.
180 degrees. So the point I'm making is that these kinds of incidents that have been bedeviling the force, Commissioner Blake needs to get a handle on these pretty quickly, and this matter of body worn cameras has to be given priority, or else we're going to have a blow up.
I
Yeah,
would like to, I just
go
want to
ahead,
say,
Dr. Francis.
I would like to ask Brother Taylor. He was in the force before, and I wanted to ask him what his thoughts were on policing now versus that was just as a sidebar for me. But let me tell you this something. I would love to hear from him. based upon what he did then and now.
Yeah, well, I was gonna get to that.
Okay,
Because
I just want to say that there are other elements that must be put in place in order for policemen to function properly. We know it's not true that they have been putting serious resources into the police force, because a lot of the uniforms look better. I understand we have body-worn cameras supposed to have, but they're not being utilized, and the where they live and where they work, and the use of technology and transportation and other things to support the police. The question is, where is this going to come from? Because it is not evident. We see a lot of pretty uniforms before, but really and truly, do we see the support system? Because we know many police stations right now don't even have certain things that you could make it look even palatable, right? They don't. They don't have the proper infrastructure. They don't have the proper means whereby to get from point A to point B. And we have to have, and this I wish this commissioner a great success. Honestly, he's one of those similar to what we do in the army, who never came up through the army. The police were like from the boots up. They are like officers who are groomed to become leaders, so to speak. And so we should have some good results regardless. I'm not knocking anybody. What I'm saying,
I mean, Dr. Francis, what he said, he's going to utilize technology, which is some of the things that is absent from the force.
But then talking about, I understand what you just said, but I'm talking about what exists on the ground right now. Have you visited these? I know people go in there on a day-to-day, but I can tell you what is happening in the police stations. They are demoralized.
Yeah, but Dr. Francis, there's been a major initiative to upgrade police stations across the island. In Portland, for example, the Port Antonio police station has been rebuilt and refurbished. The one in Buff Bay has been rebuilt and refurbished. They just announced to put in place a purpose-built police station somewhere in the West, which is going to be one of the first technology-enabled station from the ground up. The point is, we may not be 100% there, but there have been an infusion and a focus on upgrading police stations.
Dr. Paul Ivy, let me tell you something. There may be a few, but I am saying to you right now, as you go through every 140 odd stations, I don't think you have out of the 140, 80 of them properly functional.
But we I think from even previous show that we had that Francis, that we are aware of it, but there has been effort being made.
We're talking about results.
But before we can't jump to results.
We have to give the government credit. They are investing in upgrading the police stations, having recognized that they have been run down over the years and are dilapidated. It's not like to say, well, then nothing happen. They recognize the issue and they're seeking to address it.
Well, listen, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. My view is murders are still, hold on, Dr. Ivy, murders are still up. People can't get from point A to point B if they have an issue or concern. Many things of that has been happening. So therefore, I'm not just being trying to I am just trying to say to you, show me the job, show me.
We're not going to throw a switch. They're not going to throw a switch and it happens.
No, it takes time, I would think, because I mean, we know throughout all the government, the leadership before, I mean, what has been done, because I spoke to many officers when I was on the ground the other day, and they're telling me that it looked promising. Those are the things that I am hearing. Surprisingly, I heard that from the officers on the ground. So there has been changes.
What do you think, Lassie?
No, I'm gonna get into him. But since as you are pushing, let me interrogate Mr. Glenford Taylor. Mr. Glenford Taylor, you've been a police officer for how long in Jamaica, sir?
But my total was 23 years. My last 8 years spent with the Cayman Islands Police. So,
Okay. What
you know,
what what was the condition of the stations while you were there? Dr. Francis is very disgruntled about the condition, and I've seen it too, so I know. But I think there's changes going on. But let me tell you, let me ask you, what were the conditions that you have to work on when you were in Jamaica as a police officer?
okay, fortunate for me because I didn't really say live at a police station or stay in their barracks or anything of that nature. I had a residence in Kingston, so I would go home. But the conditions at police stations during my time was really, you said, deplorable. Um, I was at Constant Spring for some time. Constant Spring wasn't all that bad, but the outstations, the Marvelly, Stony Hill, and I've gone to other police stations throughout the country while, we're doing operations and stuff. And there were police stations that, when you talk about deplorable, officers they might not have a vehicle there. They had to walk miles to get to the station. Um, they don't even have a stove for they can look about their meals. The guys have to be making a fire on the outside. It wasn't good.
It
But
wasn't
most
good.
of all, I've been back a number of times, and in terms of technology, there are few stations that now has computers. Very few. There, you still have the diary, large diary where entries have to be made into. I
Mm-hmm.
had a wake up call when I was sent over to the Cayman. 7 of us was sent over to the Cayman Islands. Fortunate for me, I used to practice a little bit typing I was exposed to doing typing and stuff on the those typewriters years
Mm-hmm.
back. So when I get there was no station diary. Everything was computer.
Wow.
So I literally have to learn to how to enter stuff, incidents and stuff into the computers, and but I catch on pretty quickly with that. But it really amazed me to see that at this year and age that we still
Having that big blue and
having,
red book.
yes. And what hits me even more, I think about 4 years, 3 years ago, I had a colleague of mine, he is retired last year, but he was stationed at Falmouth. I am familiar with the old police station in Falmouth, grown up having my grandfather stationed there. So as a kid, I used to go to the police station in Falmouth a lot. However, a new station is built, and my colleague, my friend, he was operating a bar from the old station, from the whole guard room. So I went there to check with him, and as a result, I kind of look around a bit. And what amazes me is we find that in the CID office, all the records, all those diaries and stuff with names of um, criminals who and their modus operandi, all of that were left in the old building, just
Wow.
scattered there.
One.
Things that young officers who say are persons transferred to that division could learn from, their local knowledge and stuff. They could learn a lot from all that information was just thrown down there. People, from what I understand, there were times where even guys who might be doing fishing comes over into the property, go through stuff like that, and I that amazed me
So,
big.
so let me answer this. Sorry to cut you, but let me answer this. One of our listeners is want to ask, and I know you had mentioned to me before the show that you go back to Jamaica. And have you seen any improvement compared to the time that you were there?
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. You know,
Have you, all right, any of your colleagues telling you that there has been changes that has, come in there, they're seeing improvement now when, yeah, go ahead, Dr. Francis. Hold on a second.
Gentlemen, let me tell you something. My job is not to, I want to see Jamaica better. But in order to say Jamaica better, I have to look at all aspects of Jamaica. I really do. I mean, my whole life, I've spent not only praying, but doing as to how we can improve ourselves. And first, we have to tell ourselves the truth. We have to tell ourselves the truth. I am telling you, I just spoke to the former head of the Jamaica Constabulary. He's the Rohan James. He was the what you call it, head of the police
Chairman
federation.
of the Police Federation.
Federation.
I want to talk if I'm here.
No, that's
Tell us
fine.
more.
That's fine. Yeah, okay. And this is one man I know, I believe, tells the truth about what is happening. And that's why he was interdicted because of telling the truth. And he's been further interdicted. And now they put somebody in his place because they cannot afford to hear his truth going forward and with a possible election coming in the future.
But that is corruption. That is corruption.
What?
That is corruption. That have nothing to do with the police.
Listen to me, my friend. The police on the road, for example, that are out there are hustling and so on and so forth. And why are they hustling? Right? Why are they hustling? Some people say they're corrupt and so on. But some are hustling because their families are in jeopardy. Where they live, they're in jeopardy. Okay? I believe that, if you're a good leader or a prospective leader, you have to lead not only for the people who are easily to be led, but those persons who really need. And Jamaica needs leadership right now, and the police force is right for that. So I hope that this young man, this young gentleman who has been brought, I wish him the very best. I'll give him anything, any support that I could possibly give him. So I'm just saying, let us give a little hope here. I'm not trying to talk down anybody. I want to see less murders. We're not doing too badly this year, right? But we have almost up to 80 something. But the point I'm trying to make, based on what I just checked, but what I'm trying to say to you is that, let me give you one instance. In Otres the other day, I don't know if anybody saw it. Maybe Dr. Ivy saw it. A guy just walked up in the middle of Otres in the middle of the day now, and they shoot a guy right there in the far right there. And he walk inside and shoot the Chinese man and take away the thing. And it obviously a setup and just walk away just like that. Right? And one last one. When you see something happening, a fight or something happening with the police and an individual in a community, what happens? The majority of people in the community,
Go ahead.
The majority of people, I just see somebody right, why do we keep happening on rundown station? It did not just happen. What do you mean by it did not just happen? We're not talking it just did that happen. It has been happening over the years. And people are saying that they are hustling because of lack of it. No, it is a survival. And police should never be in that position. Okay? So I don't know why am I the only person on this.
Mr. Sutherland, let me say this. I critique a lot of things.
Yes,
and I'm saying to you that the government has recognized that over the years, the resources and the attention that the police force should have gotten, it has not gotten, and that many stations were in a dilapidated condition. So, for example, just last week, a new police station was opened in Hopewell, Hanover, at a cost of $25 million. That's a new station. Let me read you what the commissioner said at the beginning, at the opening ceremony. This is Anderson, the outgoing commissioner. Blake and the other bigwigs were there. Anderson, in his address, noted that the opening of the new police station would be among his final official acts. And he said, this is a smart station as it is fully technology equipped. This is actually not an ordinary police station. When you go inside, you will notice that there is no big book at the front. There are screens and technology. You will see that there are no ticket books here. They are devices that once we know who you are, we will know a lot about you, whether you have outstanding tickets or warrants or whatever and so forth. What is the point I'm making? There has been a recognition that there is a need for improvement of the stations, and a project is on the way to do that. In Portland alone, the Port Antonio police station has been rebuilt. The Buff Bay police station has been rebuilt, and others across the island. Insofar as the trajectory to effect improvement, that is on the way. We're not out of the woods as yet. We have some distance to go, but we can't just sit here and hark back to the old days of what the situation was, as if there is no indication of moving forward.
Are you telling me?
Dr. Francis, give me a second. Let me just say hi to Cecil and Valerie Richards, Leslie and Petra, Maxine, and all them. Thank you guys for being a part of this discussion tonight. But Dr. Francis, we are fully aware, and even Dr. Ivy will tell you, he's fully aware of the compromised situation that these police have to work in. They're compromised in many ways. You know, they're taking public transportation and all that. The station run down and all that. But what we're saying, Dr. Francis, is that there is work in place to change that. We are working to change that, Dr. Francis. And it's like you are implying that we should just flick the switch and change it. I don't understand. What are you saying?
Dennis, a promise is a comfort to a fool. Don't come, listen to me, man. I've been around a long time, and I've been observing this thing. I respect everything that Dr. Paul Ivy has said, Dr. Glenn Ryan said, and so on. But what I'm a practical, realistic person. I am saying over the years, okay, instead of all these startling things that I see, and you don't see any value, you don't see any reduction in crime. One answer. Can I finish?
Okay, go ahead.
It look like you.
No, because what I am saying, there has not been any input.
No, you're not going to take over from Ron tonight. Listen to me. I want you to listen. You asked me to come on the show, and I come on the show. And you want to hear me, and you don't want to hear me. Simple. I'm saying to you, let me tell you something. Jamaicans need to get serious. There are Jamaicans in Jamaica who say that nothing is happening in Jamaica. There are Jamaicans in the diaspora. They say, oh, you're here. Listen to me. They're doing nothing to help Jamaica, some of them. Nothing at all. They come at the top. They send on the right prettiest things and so on. But when it comes to helping, come together, work to tell ourselves the truth. If we can't tell ourselves the truth about our own country, which we love, then who's going to do it? I am not making no excuse to nobody, and I'm not being political. I am saying to you, right, we the children of Jamaica, right, deserve better. The people of Jamaica deserve better. Go drive on some of them roads. You yourself the other day saw it, right? Deserve better. So I'm saying, Dr. Ivy, you're doing a great job. You're writing books and so on. I am asking you, sir, to go out there back and just give us this real statistic. We don't want to talk about 1 and 2. We're talking about the general. We're talking about the whole thing. I want the leadership in the community. Why do people get up every time a policeman is arresting somebody and want to beat up a policeman? It's a damn shame. It's a shame. Why? Because they don't respect them, right? And we have to change that because the people are saying they are against them, right? Once upon a time in a police and soldier, they could go anywhere and people love them and shout for them. It's not happening. A police helped me to be where I am today. Police, I love them.
Can I talk now, Dr. Francis?
Yes, you can talk.
Oh, thank you very much. I heard you say I asked you to be on the show. I thought you belong to here. I don't understand. Me ask you to be on the show. But let me take you on tonight. But hear me now. Dr. Francis,
what?
We agree that there has been, the station was run down. The PNP never do nothing about it, who in for 18 years, the Labour never do nothing about it when they come in and all of that. But there has been no changes. I'm not saying it's a PNP or Labour thing, so I don't want nobody to say that. You understand? Because I think whoever was in power today would have to upgrade the police station, and I think that's how everyone would share that sentiment. So it's not a political thing. It's not Labour right now, PNP. It's just it was so badly gone that anybody would have to do it today. So I don't want nobody to think there's a Labour or PNP thing and must give credit to any of these people. I'm not gonna go there with none of them. But yeah, there is improvement, and I don't know what Dr. Francis expects.
My point is this: if you see where there are pockets of improvement, you speak to them. If you see where if you see where the need for attention, I alluded to the fact that the policemen going out on operations, they don't have body-worn cameras. That's something that needs to be addressed. Yes. A new police station has been built for $25 million. You have to recognize that.
I don't say no. I don't say.
That is why I'm saying I'm underscoring the importance. You just alluded to the lack of respect or the hostility between the citizens and the police. Dr. Blake has said that one of his focus areas is community policing. And those who study police science, which I don't study, but I've read about it, the essence of policing is community policing.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
That's what this is one of his focus areas. The man has been on the job for 2 weeks. So give him some time. He has articulated priority areas. Give him some time.
All right, but what happened to the Minister of National Security? We must give him some time too. Where is he? Where is he? Why is the Prime Minister taking so many portfolios under his heading and even crime? You tell me. The fact of the matter is, we have to hear, we're paying these people some 200, 300% and what have you. So I am saying to you, it is, if you're being paid to do a job, do the job.
That's a reasonable proposition, but let's understand something as well. That, again, I say this and I've said all the time, the primary responsibility of government is public order and safety of citizens. But we also need to appreciate something that occurs in the police force. The Commissioner of Police has operational control and autonomy of the police force. The Minister of Policy, what have you. So as it relates to operationally, the police commissioner has tremendous latitude and opportunity to get things right. And that's why the last time I mentioned, you say, what the big responsibility that I'm putting on the police commissioner? Of course, because he has operational control. And I mentioned that the 19 divisions, a lot of improvements are needed in the 19th division across the area, operationally, across the
I don't want to hug the show, but I want to ask a question.
Yes.
So the police commissioner, is he under political control or not?
Should not be.
No, it should not be. He has operational control of the force.
Yeah, but the point is not the operational, which I'm worried about, is the political control, because there's some places in the island you and I know are untouchable almost. Untouchable. All right? So listen to me. I'm trying to be fair. I want everybody that is listening out there, all Jamaicans, stop the foolishness. We want Jamaica to strive. We don't want it to be, quote unquote, another Haiti. I love Haiti, but at the same time, I prefer Jamaica because I am Jamaican. Everybody on this platform. So hold on. All I'm talking for, with all what you see me going on with, I am saying to us, the children out there deserve more. The people, the old people, all those, the poor people out there, they need more. All right? That is the point I'm making.
The point is well taken, that Dr. Francis, but I still believe that there has been improvement, and we just there's work in the pipeline, and we just have to.
One of our guests asked, why am I focusing on buildings? I'm simply using that as an example to say that investments have been put in and there are improvements that are in train. That's the simple point I'm trying to make.
Right.
Well,
I have to endorse that what Doc said too. There has been a lot of improvement since I've left. There's a lot of upgraded training. And to be frank with you, we are doing in terms of investigations with the things that they have to work with, there's a lot of work going on in terms of investigation too. They have been doing pretty
Yeah,
good with what they have, you know.
I
So
think that we need to give them at this point with a new commission. I think we need to give them some time.
You know, interesting. Let me just quickly make this point. Dr. Blake, Kevin Blake, was in charge of the force development and logistics, and he is credited with the technology infusion that we're seeing beginning to come into the force. Mark, you notice I said beginning to come into the force, because I'm not saying that we're a technology infused police force as yet.
No.
So he
Yes.
was in charge of that branch. And now that he has the overall responsibility, the expectation is that you're going to see more.
Dr. Ivy, I understand. I know where you stand on it. I have to push you a little bit hard because I wanted to stop placating this thing for these guys, because they are there, they are paid.
I am one of the harshest critics about the need for good governance and the improvement of our country.
I think
But
Dr. Francis needs to give them
I
some
have to
stuff.
be balanced. I have to call facts as I see them.
I'm not saying no. I agree with you, and I'm not saying you have not done that. Don't get me wrong. You and I agree on many things. Remember, we were almost chased off of here because we took an educational point of view, if you remember. So understand that. But what is interesting is, and I'm glad you have Mr. Taylor here, who was there before, did 20-something years. He saw something else in other countries, and he's now here. And he's now, he might not be, because I don't want to tell you what he does right now. But, you know, here we have a situation that we need to get everybody. Wow, Jamaica just caught a fugitive after 3 years on the run. You know, the fact, the matter is that we really need to be able. People are getting away literally, as you know, with murder, right? People in the courts, right? The justice system is flawed, right? There's no way you keep them there. They're like they walk. They're not even incarcerated. So hold on. I see you, Dennis. I see you moving forward.
Okay, all right,
Come and get me. Come and get me. But Dennis, behave yourself. Let me just say this: we're not living in a bubble, right? We cannot live in a bubble. And Dr. Ivy has come out and approached me on that. But you want me to say, yes, it has started. No. This should have started a long time ago. You and I know it.
Who you pointing the finger at?
Me not point the finger. You see me pointing my finger?
But if you say, all right, so we said this should have started a long time ago. This should have started a long time ago. Where is that going to take us? We are here now. So we have to move from here.
Wow, that was a nice one. That's what I Googled, Dr. Ivy. Thank you for that. Because you see, I'm not saying we should remain in the past. I am saying we should go forward. But I'm saying we have to go forward positively, and we have to hold them accountable for what they say they're doing. That's all I'm saying.
I am saying, let us wait and see. That's what I am saying. Let us give them some time.
No, I don't want to hear that.
I'm not so much for the wait and see per se. What I'm saying is this: he should be afforded time, but there's no honeymoon. There's no honeymoon. There's no honeymoon. He has to hit the ground running.
Okay.
But the strategies that he's and the things that he's going to implement, those have to be given time to work. But you must now start to make moves in his first 100 days. You must see things moving. You must shake the tree.
Dr. Francis, I think patient is absent here. You need to get a little patient and wait and see. You see, in Ghana already. Anyway, we
must see police in the streets. We must see halfway trees start to clean up. We must see all the town centers order returning to the town centers within the next 100 days. The man must get cracking.
I agree with you, Dr. Francis, that the integrity of the police was damaged, you know, and I'm saying this man, with all his experience and what he's intended to do, I think he is here to restore integrity in the court.
Hold on. Let me tell you something. Let me say this. I wish him well. Everybody knows that. But let me just tell you a little story, which you all know. Right now, if a policeman gets sick, right now you see a couple of them floating on GoFundMe and all that sort of thing and so on. I don't know, you know. They're not the policemen, their morale has been flawed. A lot of them have mental health issues. I see a man just retire and put a gun to him head about 3 years ago. And he was not ill, he was not, you know, like nobody thought he was mental. Listen, please understand this. You give these guys, they're facing the music. Okay? These policemen, we as soldiers work in to assist them. Okay? And you can't give them basket to carry water. They're human beings. They have families. So you have to raise the morale. So I hope he did not mention morale. And so I'm hoping that the current commissioner it will raise the morale, not only the logistics, the morale of the troops, and let them work, because people work with morale. Okay? And so that's what I'm saying. So I'm not going to back off that one.
We have 3 minutes. We have 3 minutes to close.
Very much aware of that.
We have 3 minutes to close because we don't want to exceed the hour. And that especially Dr. Francis moving the goalpost if he suit himself all the time. But I'm keeping it real.
Hold on. You see, hold on. I never expected Dr. Ivy and you to be teaming up on me tonight. You know?
No, it's not about that teaming up. Dr. Francis is obvious that you're moving the goalpost all over the place.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor, for coming on and at least breaking the thing, because otherwise I'll be toast right here now.
That's all right. Mr. Taylor, I just want to use this opportunity, sir, to say thank you, because we only have 2 minutes left to close the show. And I want to close out by hearing a final word from Dr. Paul Ivy. Help us to close this out. I want to hear your final thoughts. All of you guys then. We'll put it out here. I want to hear your final thoughts.
I have high expectations of the new commissioner. I'm prepared to listen to him and to see what his initiatives and strategies are going to be. But I expect to hold his feet to the fire. And I have a metric that I'm going to judge him by. I use the same metric for Anderson. It's not the murder rate. It is public order, because the psychology of order will filter through to make people know that it can't be business as usual. The little things will have a ripple effect and impact the big things. It's public order I'm looking for from this commissioner.
Absolutely.
All right. Let me go to Mr. Taylor, former JCF member. You have any final thoughts? I'll give you 30 seconds, sir.
I really endorse what Dr. Ivy just said. We just have to, have a little bit of faith with and hope that this new commissioner, he will put out and encourage these people under his command to do a bit more, and we just have to work with it. Now, everything seems to be with the public in terms of respect and stuff. What we see happening out there is not really good, but it can come back.
Yes,
we just have to work about it.
I feel so too. Dr. Francis, move the goalpost again. This is another opportunity to move the goalpost. Put it anywhere you want to put it.
No, I just saw a thing by Maxine Adderley saying what we should do she's a listener. Thank you, Maxine. All the persons who have done what they said today. We need to tax the people and so on. But here's what I'm saying. We need training, education, and experience back into the force, and discipline. Okay, and the people of Jamaica, we have to start with the young ones, start with the children, to rediscipline and refocus on patriotism, etc. We must show the same patriotism we show for athletics and football and everything to building our country, right? As to be a first world country. That's what I'm hoping. And I want to thank you very much for the opportunity to try to beat me up tonight, Dennis. I really appreciated it. I look forward to the next meeting.
Mr. Sutherland, for you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sutherland. Is that all right? Okay, I can't hear from you, but don't call me, All right, don't call me.
Anyways, guys, it was nice hanging with you
thank
tonight.
Thank you.
And outside of being nice, I think we are all Jamaicans and we have Jamaican interests at heart. And we're very serious about the mission or any contribution there is to make changes. We are very serious about it. Again, like, share, and subscribe to the show. Thank you guys for being with us. Peace out, and we talk next week, same time, same place. And I'm gonna tell you, this Sunday evening at 6, we're gonna have a special with Benford Winchester Taylor and his 7 songs. They are really something to listen to.
Okay, I'm looking
We'll be
forward.
talking. All right, Sunday evening at 6. Take care,
Okay,
guys. All the
gentlemen.
best.
Have a good
Appreciate you
night.
having me, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
One
All
love,
right.
all. One love.